G'day Australia, Robert Dixon again. You know, I've decided to get up early and do my video. Been thinking about it for a while because if I leave it too late, in the background all I hear is crows. Now somebody once told me, an Aboriginal woman told me that in Aboriginal folklore, the crows represent the politicians. They're the ones that organise stuff. And they're the last ones I want crowing in the background while I'm talking about my country, Australia. So if I get up early, we get parrots, we get kookaburras, we get the lot. That's a better reflection of my Australia. So I want to talk to you this morning about the issue of action and inaction for Australia. Winston Churchill said, "Never worry about action, but only about inaction." There's the kookaburras now. It's the people who control the government, not the government, the people. And Australians right now should be worried about inaction. You know, I ran in the last federal election, 2016, and first time I'd done public speaking for 20 odd years. And we had about 6 Meet the Candidate rallies organised by community organisations here on the Sunshine Coast. And in 6 events, I spoke to a total of probably no more than 300 different people in an electorate of 90,000 people at a time when our country is struggling. And most of the people around me are struggling. They're struggling for work. The government's trying to take their pension off them. And yet the people in the city areas, or certainly in this area, and I'm sure that it works for all the city areas, how else would Labor, Liberal or the Greens get the votes that they get if the people weren't just plain too lazy to check out what the new candidates have to offer? And so right now in Australia, our biggest enemy is not the actions of various patriots and different groups. It's the inaction and the damn laziness of the Australian public. And we do have to wake them up. They seem happy to sit on the slippery slide into the cesspool of oblivion and just let things happen. Let the media tell them who to vote for. Let the government bureaucracies and parties just laugh at them like the kookaburras. And they won't get up and check out new candidates, new options. And so, Australia, don't worry about the actions of patriots and whether you like this person or you like that person and what they're doing. Thank God that they're being active. Worry about the inaction and the damn laziness of Australians in a country that has so much potential, but in the hands of globalist, elitist, God help me, how do they ever get the title of elitist? What a bunch of drongos. What a weak-livered, lily-livered, spineless, blimmin' jellyfish backbone bunch of cowards we are led by in this country. Have a look at our nation. 200 years since colonisation. And if you look at the development, we didn't get here by being inactive and lazy. We are a resourceful, hard-working people. We are a country made up of people who came from all over the world to make this place great and to make it a great home for them. And now we lazily sit around complaining about, you know, Blair Cottrell style of activity. You know, or Pauline Hanson's this, or, you know, and yet we're too damn lazy to get out there and support them. Guys like Dylan Wilson and Clinton Pryor walking across Australia in protest to what the government's doing. We have hard-working farmers and people that have, you know, worked all their lives. When I talk about lazy, some of these lazy people are hard-working physically. They've raised themselves a lot of money and they're living very, very comfortably. If they have to, they would mow their lawn with a pair of scissors so it looks good. But when it comes to waking up to what's going on in the country and finding out what they can do to help, they are lazy, lazy in their thinking. They won't do the research. They keep thinking the way that they used to think. They're good conservative people will keep voting Labor, Liberal and the Greens until we sink into the mud of this great bloomin' globalist swamp. And that's not what Australia is. We're an arid country. We don't want to bloomin' languish in a swamp of globalism, of divided multiculturalism with dangerous Islamic terrorism flooding into our country because we're such nice people. We're too good. We'll sit here and watch it all on My Colour TV, as Red Gum sang back in the 1970s when they were trying to warn us about the fact that our government was in the wrong hands. So Australia, don't worry about the actions. In fact, get behind the actions. And if they're unconventional ideas, you think you want to sit around and wait till our people get voted in this corrupt system where the media and the government are in collusion and they've got it all under control. You know, here on in my electorate, they voted in some dimpled little fella who went to the London School of Economics, another Fabian socialist, because he put up more signs than anybody else. Because he'd been campaigning for about 4 years since he lost to Clive Palmer. Not because he was going to do anything, and ever since he's been in Parliament, he's done nothing except get his photograph taken with Malcolm Turnbull. How's that going to save Australia? All you hard-working people here that voted for him. Are we too lazy to get behind somebody who maybe doesn't have the money to campaign, but he has the heart, the spine, and the Australian patriotic ideas? Is all it takes for somebody to bankroll some clown so that he puts up more signs than anybody else, so he can pay for the media advertising. But you're too lazy to get out there and have a look at new candidates, to listen to their radical ideas that disturb you and make you uncomfortable. What is that passion that he has? Well, that's what it is. It's concern, it's patriotism. It's a realisation that he's awake to the fact that Australia needs leaders and it needs a change. It needs unconventional ideas. We need to find out how to bring in a lawful government because our laziness and our complacency has brought us down that dusty track to right to the swamp's edge. And look at the people who are in control. So don't let money, political powers, international donations decide for you who your next Australian leaders are. Get up and find the leaders with heart, with good ideas, who want to build a great Australia for our kids' future, for our future, to give us something proud, to be proud of in the lives that we've lived in this wonderful land before we turn up our toes. Let's do something, Australia. No more inaction. No more lazy thinking because you live in a lovely city. It didn't become a lovely city because people, Australians, were lazy and inactive. So Australia today, I challenge you. Don't sit back and criticise. Don't sit back and vote for the person with the most signs up at the next election. Stand up and use this. Do some research, get on the internet and find out, have a look at Europe and find out what we don't want to be. And have a look at Trump and see what a real leader can do. Despite all the criticism, Australia, get behind the action and be there when your next candidates want to stand up in front of you and tell you what they want for Australia. And let it disturb your heart. Let it disturb you to the point where you won't vote Labor, Liberal or the Greens, the slimy globalists anymore, because we love this great country of ours. Now let's get moving, Australia. Find the right people. Vote for them, even though you've never left the mainstream political trench before. Though your parents and your grandparents voted Labor, Liberal and the Greens. Don't die in shame.